healthy, always trying to get better at the gym, taking on new challenges, the rematches, you know, to see who's evolved. Fighting Greg Jackson's camp 3 times now. It's awesome. It's an awesome feeling. Thank you to my coaches and my teammates back at home. This was, you know, a 12-week camp, and to be able to come back out here, re-peak again, have no injuries, it just feels really good to be able to not hear Anderson Silva's name next to mine anymore. Now my name is like, they're like, oh, who has the longest reigning, you know, title defenses? Demetrius Johnson does.
When did it first become a possibility to you? When you started looking at it, like after what fight did you start thinking, hey, Anderson's in my sights?
It's, well, obviously 10. But it's hard to, you know, when you get through your first title defense, you know, Anderson Silva is still champion. He's still beating people. And we always took one fight at a time, you know, one title defense at a time. But like I said, when we got to the 10th one, it's like, oh, man, we're right here. We're walking on uncharted territories. We're tied with Anderson Silva, so we're going to go back home, reset, refocus, and always evolve as a champion and as an athlete. And we made it happen.
You always do something different. You add things to your game, but tonight was just mind-blowing, that move that you made. I heard you say that you had worked on that in the gym. Was there something specifically that you saw that led you to think that was something to work on, or was it just a move you wanted to have in your arsenal?
Well, let me hit on 2 things. So it's funny. I never, you know, you see a lot of people out there, they're doing their training videos, their vlogs and stuff. I don't, you know, show any of my training. I just don't do it. It's none of your guys' business what I'm doing in the gym. But we do have an embedded crew coming out there, and I'll let them film my warm-up. And they're like, dude, you need to let us, you know, film your sparring, because the stuff that you're doing in sparring, you're actually doing in an octagon. And Rick Lee, he will tell you already in Edmonton, I was practicing throwing people up. I do it all the time in the gym. When I was in the octagon fighting Ray Borg, he's very tough dude. His game is scrambling. That's what he likes to do. And when he was like, oh, I'm out scramble DJ, I'm gonna get on top of him. And even when he took me down, I was like, okay, you took me down. Are you gonna pass guard? No. And I elevated him, and I got back up, and I was like, okay, you took me down. That was the best opportunity you had. And then when I had his back, he was very planted. His weight was planted. And Matt, a couple weeks ago, he was saying when somebody's planted, you have to shift their weight. And when they shift their weight, they're light. So when I had him, I was kneeing him. I was going to try to kick him in the face, but I knew he was looking for that to try to take me down. So I kneed him, and then I shook his weight. I shifted his weight. And then when he shifted, he went back through an elbow, and I was like, got you. And that's when I threw him up and then landed an armbar. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Mighty Mouse right here. Hey, congratulations, champ.
Thank you.
That was incredible to witness. But you lied to me at Media Day. You said you like to play Street Fighter because you can't do those moves in real life, and clearly you were bluffing. What are we going to call that?
I don't know. Mighty Armbar? I don't know.
I was going to say the Mighty Bar, but John Morgan has a good one back there. I'll let him, I don't want to steal his thunder. I'll let him say it. Your pace seemed to increase as the fight went on. At what point did you realize that you were running away with this? Because, you know, once your pace increased, you were basically putting on a clinic.
Yeah, there was a long time ago in, I think it was Pride. Crow Cop, it was his birthday, and he was in the World Grand Prix Championship. And he had that look on his face that nobody's going to take that championship away from him. That's kind of how I felt today. Like, I felt like nobody's going to take this away from me. The weight cut went easy. All my training sessions went easy. I ate as much as I kind of wanted this week. So everything just felt good. And when I got in there was something like when I fight guys who are my size, who are 5'3", 5'5", it's easy to just fight, I guess you can say. But you never know that you're going to win the fight until, you know, the referee pulls you off.
I got a lot of footage of you during the open workouts. You know, I witnessed it firsthand. And then, of course, tonight we saw what you did in there. I just can't wrap my head around some of the things that you do. Can you just drop a little bit of wisdom on those angles? Your angles are just unlike anything anyone else does. It's so far ahead of the game.
Yeah, you know, obviously I'm not in the sport of, you know, taking concussions and taking blows. You know, that Vienna and Bobby Green fight, amazing fight. But when I'm sitting back there, everybody's like, oh, that's a tough fight, it's a tough fight. I'm like, man, I'm really worried about the concussions they're receiving right now. They're just taking concussions and concussions. And I learned my lesson a long time ago when I stood and banged with somebody. And Matt goes, you're such an idiot. He goes, that's not your skill set. Your skill set's to be able to move fluidly through the aspect of mixed martial arts. So when I'm in there and I see Ray Borg walking forward, I'm like, okay, he's plotting that front foot. I'm an inside 9. I'm going to pop the jab. Okay, I'm going to move. I'm going to switch the southpaw. I'm going to throw the body kick. And then he wants to catch my kick. So I'll throw it, and he'll catch it. And I make sure I just keep it heavy on his head. So I look at my opponent to see what they're good at, and then I try to take it away from them, and then I look for the submission or the finish.
And a caveat to that would be, you know, as the game evolves, a lot of people are moving away from doing a lot of hard sparring. So when you adopted that philosophy that you just spoke of, did you also move away from really intense sparring as well?
No, I still, you know, spar pretty intense. You know, I wear 16-ounce gloves, and then my MMA gloves are about 7 ounces. I have big poofy ones. And at AMC, we're really good about not lighting people up on the face. You know, I'm a type of athlete that I don't need to go extremely hard. I'm like, hit me hard, or I need to hit you hard to make sure I'm fight ready in the octagon. But leg kicks, body shots are 100% at AMC, but headshots, nobody know. Go ahead, Ariel. Go ahead.
Congratulations.
Yes, I'll come on your show Monday.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I'll give the mic away. No, I just wanted to ask about the finish. Do you feel, as amazing as it was, one of the greatest subs ever, do you feel that if you weren't so close to the cage that you would have subbed him sooner, that the cage almost impeded your fall and allowed him to hang around just a little longer?
Maybe. I mean, right now my left butt cheek is just shot, literally shot, and I was squeezing. And I remember when I threw him up, I grunted, threw him up, and slammed him. And I remember like shimmy down a little bit, and then squeezing. And he was doing a good job of moving his arm back and forth. And I was trying to get the elbow in place. And then like I squeezed, and he kept on going. I was like, oh my God, like he's not gonna give up. And then I had to resituate the arm, the elbow again on the right spot. I kept on squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. And then finally I got the right spot, and I was like, okay, I got it. And then that's when he gave up.
Did it bother you at all that you were the co-main event?
Oh, no, I'm not. No.
No?
Like I said, you know, I had my opportunity in Edmonton to headline that card. Unfortunately, Ray Borg fell sick. You know, I'm grateful that the UFC were able to reschedule me so quick. I love fighting in Las Vegas. The time zone, the food here is amazing. The weight cut was good. And I actually, you know, when I was up in Edmonton, I had an injury that I was going to fight through. And Matt was like, you know what? Like, you need to get that looked at. And I was like, okay, well, we're gonna fight, and after this fight, I'll get it looked at. Then when it got pushed back for another 4 weeks, I was like, great. Now I have to go back into training camp into injured and try to not make it worse. And so it worked out perfect. I felt better this week than I did when I was in Edmonton.
What was the injury?
I don't know yet. I had to get an MRI. It's weird. Like, I can move fine, but when I sit back on my knees, like if I try to, you know, lay down on my knees or be on my knees and try to take my butt to my heels, just excruciating pain in my right knee. I don't know what it is. I'm going to get it looked at.
I was going to ask for Fabricio Verdum what he thought of the submission. What do you think of his submission, considering how good you are on the ground?
I think it's very nice submission, but I think 50-50, you know, the performance of the night.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
You know, congrats, man.
Thank you. Yeah, 100. Yeah. Any other questions?
Tell us about Fight Week. We saw you driving around. Was Bentley, Rolls-Royce, and then Slingshot. And what can we expect as of moving forward? Is it going to be private jets and Flash? And
I don't make that much money. Let's be honest there, okay? No, man, that was just something that, you know, first round management did for me. You know, the was it a Bentley? Yeah, the Bentley was fun, and it's nice, man. Sometimes, you know, when you try to go to the open workouts, you do this, you're always on somebody else's time frame. I heard Tony Ferguson was 30 minutes late to the bus. And I was like, dude, I'm not going to wait 30 minutes for you, dude. So I'm glad that I have my own car service to get me to the open workouts. And then the Slingshot was fun. The Mighty Mobile was something fun to experience. I've always wanted a motorcycle, but I've just been too scared to get on it, you know. I feel more comfortable on 3 wheels instead of 2. Any other questions? God bless your souls. I have 8 at the UFC office, and I got 3 at home, so.
Like it?
Oh, yeah, of course I'm trying.
Alright.
Can't wait to watch Dragon Ball Super tonight.
Verdun? Verdun, o Francis Ngannou, ele falou pra gente durante uma conversa com a imprensa durante o evento. E ele mencionou que ele chegou a se oferecer para te enfrentar. Isso chegou aos seus ouvidos? Você aceitaria?
Não, não chegou a meus ouvidos nenhuma proposta do Francis, não. Só a do Harry, né? Harry. E eu aceitei imediatamente. A gente teve uma decisão no quarto mesmo ali, que eu estava saindo, vindo para a arena, e a decisão foi muito rápida, né? Eu, o Rafael Cordeiro, meu irmão, o Babalu, todo mundo junto. A gente decidiu que sim, que era muito importante aceitar, mas na verdade a gente fez mais para não deixar o UFC na mão também, né? Para mostrar que a gente é 100% UFC. E era importante para não ter mais uma luta cancelada.
Tá.
Agora traduz em inglês aí.
Não, depois eles falam. Minha última pergunta, ô Fabrício. Você acha que essa luta você chegou a mencionar, pedir uma luta pelo cinturão. Você acha que essa luta te credencia para lutar pelo cinturão? E talvez, de repente, te interessaria lutar, de repente, com Alistair Overeem ou Francis Ngannou se um deles se machucasse?
Não, a ideia é lutar diretamente pelo cinturão, né? E eu tenho certeza que me credencia por ter aceito essa luta nas 3 últimas horas. Eu tive que trocar o oponente, né? Foi muito rápido. E pela performance que eu tive, que eu falei isso antes, né? Que estava entre eu, o Overeem e o Francis. E eu mostrei, mais uma vez, que eu estou com 100% de condições de lutar pelo cinturão de novo. Então, acho que eu mostrei dentro do octágono. Eu falei pouco fora do octágono, mas ali dentro eu mostrei com a prática.
Anyone have any questions for
Fabrizio, congratulations on your win. You know, before this week, you talked about an impressive performance versus Derek Lewis. You were hoping that if you had an impressive performance against him, it would get you a title shot. Then you get thrust into this situation where you're putting yourself at risk. You're fighting a guy for the first time, last minute notice. Did it ever cross your mind not to take the fight?
Yes, man, it's so hard decision. Imagine 3 hours before, I just have my team in my room. I just come to the arena, and my manager, Ali, called me and said, your fight is canceled. Imagine, everything is good for coming to the arena. And I'm very sad. In the first time, I'm very sad, but my manager called me again. 2 minutes later, he called me. Verdun, I have one more guy, maybe I have one more fight for you. Have a Red, how say his name? Red.
Walt Harris. Walt Harris.
Harris, yeah, Harris. And I say, yes, just one second, Ali. And I just have a decision with my team. This is very hard decision because, you know, imagine you prepare your body, your everything, strategy, everything for one guy, you know, for Derek Lewis for 3 months. And the 3 hours change everything, you know. It's so hard decision, man. And this guy is southpaw yet. This is very good guy. I say thank you for him for the fight, you know, because I know it's hard for him, the fight for me too. But I show again, I'm waiting for the fight, for the title shot, you know. I think my performance is amazing performance, you know. Like a 1 minute fight, just 1 minute. He don't give me one punch, nothing, zero, you know. Take it down, mount, and take his back and arm bar, you know. It's like I think it's perfect fight.
Francis Ngannou had told the media backstage that he was trying to step in last minute. How would you have felt if
Yes, for
Francis
sure.
had stepped up?
Anyone, no problem. Anyone, I say to the guys say Francis, Overeem, Hards, for everyone I want to fight, man. That's it. I mean, waiting for fight, you know. I just have my bag, I have my bag in my back. Just walk for coming to here. I fight, man. Just That's it. I show you today.
A very impressive performance, obviously. But do you think a win over Walt Harris could propel you back the way, you were hoping Derek Lewis
What's
could
that?
have?
Say again?
Do you really think a win over Walt Harris could propel you back to a shot at Stipe?
Yes, for sure, man. 100%. I told you, man. That depend the performance. I think my performance is very well. It's very good performance, and I think the next one I deserve not just for this fight, not just this fight. I think in my whole career, I trained for 20 years, and I think I deserve again. I got two times the belt, 2 times the interim belt, and after versus Mark Hunt versus Cain Velasquez, I show this, and I show again. I have a 4 years old, but I show again. I know the way, 100% I got it again.
Switching topics a little bit, you and Tony obviously had your little dust up last week, but he won the championship tonight. What do you think of Tony Ferguson's performance?
It's very good performance. Congratulations for him. It's very good performance.
I'm sorry, you may have been asked this, but do you think you really can get Miocic next?
What's this again?
Can you get Stipe for your next fight?
Yes, for sure, man. For every who he want, because when Steve Miocic he say Verdun give him the opportunity, I give for him. Now his turn, he giving the opportunity for the belt again. I think I'm waiting for him. For every who want, maybe next week I'm waiting, man. I'm waiting for the New York for everyone. Just keep going to training. I come back to Los Angeles tomorrow with my family. I just like a couple of days I go to vacation. And after then, I start the train again. I wanna fight Steve Miocic, man. This is my big goal.
Did Dana say anything backstage to you about that happening?
No, I don't see Dana yet, man. I don't see it yet. Just I wanna see him when he giving the bonus, after the night.
Thank you.
Fabricio, I asked Derek Lewis about what he wants and how he's feeling and everything, and he said he was hopeful that he would fight you in New York. Has that been brought up to you?
Yes, for sure, man. Yeah. I don't know the UFC decision yet, I told you, my big goal is the belt. And the UFC say, we're waiting a little bit more, and the fight is Steve Miocic, and maybe in January, February in next year. I'm waiting for no problem. I'm waiting. I have more time for training, Depends the UFC decision, man. But I told you before, my big goal is the belt, I think I deserve the belt again.
And was that one of the more enjoyable fights of your career? I mean, obviously you've had some massive wins, the title of Fedor, but just to be that smooth on the ground and show off your jiu-jitsu and just have such a quick finish, was that one of the more enjoyable sequences of your career, at least as of late?
This time?
This one, yeah.
This for sure I'm enjoying it. For sure when a win is like a one step front, When you lose, everything is bad, I mean, lose, I'm not here for sure, Nobody want to interview, nobody want a seminar, nobody, nothing, zero. And the victory is very important for me. But the Fedor one is a special one for 100%.
Yeah.
When I beat Fedor, as the more important fight in my career.
Did you know who Walt Harris was before today? Have you ever heard of him?
Say again?
Walt Harris, had you ever heard of him prior to today?
Quem é esse cara aí? Hã? No, I saw him when I commented, when I work in UFC Network, I saw him a couple times, but it's very funny, man, because I just have a strategy when I'm in my way from here to the arena. Me, Rafael, my team, watch his fight, man, and the strategy. Imagine you come to the fight and watch his fight, and I make the strategy.
Wow.
Couple 30 minutes, like 40 minutes, and I make the strategy. That's it. You see the strategy. This is the strategy. I just make.
Final thing, did you say anything to him afterwards? Did
Who?
you say anything to Walt after the fight?
Yes, for sure. I say thank you for him because he take this fight too. He's a tough fighter. He's very dangerous guy, man. He have a lot of knockouts. When I saw him, it's like a big guy, man. He's a big guy,
All right, last one. Thank you, Fabricio.
That's it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, man. No too much question, but when I be a champion, I don't give a question for you.
Sometimes they tell you to only keep the mic on one side, so try. No?
Hey, Ray, can you put into words kind of what facing Demetrius is like? You hear a lot about him and how great he is. When you were in the cage with him, what is it like in actuality?
You know, he's good. He's where he's at for a reason, and you know, sharing the octagon with him was something I can definitely put in my back pocket to learn from. You know, obviously I wasn't on the receiving end of the win. Things didn't go the way I had planned them to. I got away from my game plan a little bit, but you know, he's very knowledgeable, and that's something that he has that a lot of fighters don't.
How shocked were you by the throw and then the armbar? And can you talk us through, from your standpoint, what you recall of that move?
You know, in the moment, I thought I was on the ground before. I thought he was just gonna throw me. I was gonna get ready to move and scramble. I thought I was on the ground before he hit that armbar. He hit the armbar, I guess, midair. It was sneaky. Like I said earlier, I laughed at him a couple times during the fight just because he pulled off some sneaky shit, and I just thought it was pretty cool myself. But you know, it wasn't cool to be on the receiving end of it. But it is what it is.
Did you feel like you fought well? You said you had, you know, a couple mistakes, but it seemed to me like, you know, you raised your game a little bit from what you've been before, and that maybe most of the guys in the top 10 or top 5 you would beat tonight, except for him.
You know, it was definitely not the performance that I wanted at all, and I don't mean that just because I didn't win. I mean because I didn't implement the things that my coaches wanted me to. I should have gone a different route, and I think if I would have went that route, it would have been a little bit better for me, and it would have, you know, played into my favor. But, you know, I'm 24 years old. What can I say? Fight for a world title against what you guys call the pound-for-pound greatest. So all I'm gonna do is just learn.
Right here, Ray. Great fight, buddy. Sorry about the outcomes. Great fight.
Thank you.
After the open workouts, you told us that you and your coaches had assessed some opportunities that you could exploit in Mighty Mouse's game. Now that the fight is over and done with, and you've been in there with him, can you reveal some of those things that y'all saw?
You know, he is good, and I definitely feel like Demetrius is at the top and where he's at because of his knowledge and his ability to correct things in the fight mentally. And but we you know, we've seen some things on the feet where he doesn't bail very good. You know, he's real chin high. You know, he's been dropped more and more recently, and that's something we were going to try to capitalize on. But you know, I shifted the fight a different direction and didn't stick to the game plan.
Okay, and last question. Again, at the open workouts, you displayed a lot of submissions from the back you were working on, and also you displayed some really great kicks, and you didn't really get a chance to implement any of that stuff. Is that what you mean when you say that you didn't work the game plan?
Yeah, you know, my game plan was, you know, to more or less go with the flow, but I definitely felt like I could have outboxed him, outstruck him, and in that department, I should have, you know, just believed in my hands and just let him fly. But, you know, unfortunately, age was not on my side tonight, and I just need to learn more.
Ray, you talk about learning more, and in watching the fight, it just seems sometimes like DJ is 2-3 steps ahead, and that's not to say anything bad of your skills, but DJ's obviously on this level where he's stringing things together. Can you just talk about dealing with his transitions and how difficult that was?
I felt like fighting DJ was fighting my future self, in a sense. I mean, if you guys look at all my fights, I'm always 2 steps ahead of people. I'm always 3 steps ahead of people. I'm always being sneaky with, you know, submissions, and I truly felt like I just fought a future version of myself. You know, he's had time in this game. He's had the ability to learn how to control himself in there, and you know, it was a little bit of shock to me to be out scrambled and, you know, out positioned.
And last question I want to ask is, you know, as you walked away from the cage, you know, we saw you had tears in your eyes, and obviously in that moment it was tough dealing with the defeat. But in the time since then, have you sort of just grappled with where you're going to go from here and how you're going to build off of this?
You know, a good buddy told me, you know, like with crying after a loss and crying, you know, they always say don't cry, keep your head up and things like that. and everybody made memes and talked shit about Daniel Cormier when he was crying on public television. But what you guys don't realize is what we go through to get to this point, what we sacrifice to get to this point. And when you want it so bad and you don't get it, it's heartbreaking. My buddy told me that if you don't cry after a loss, then you didn't want it as much as what you thought. So I just wanted it. I really did, and it just wasn't my night. It's not my time. Since then, the only thing I can tell myself is that I'm 24. I mean, look at DJ when he had his first crack at the title. Dominic beat him in like devastating fashion. Well, not devastating, but dominated him. He lost his first crack at a title. I'm 24, and I'm just gonna keep working, and I'm gonna get back there.
Ray, have you ever seen that kind of submission? Has anyone ever tried that on you before?
No, I don't even think it was really a submission. I think it's just, sometimes you can just make shit up. He just happened to suplex or, throw me, and then my arm was straight trying to brace myself, and he just saw an armbar.
Did you think for a second that you'd be able to get out?
I really did. I thought I was about to scramble out of it. He had good control of it. He was moving it real well. I felt like I was seconds from getting out of it and scrambling, and then I turned one way when I should have turned the other, and got stuck.
Now that you've actually fought him, was he better than you thought he would be?
Yeah, well, I mean, we always knew he was good, but it's one thing to be in there with him and just watching him. I've fucking watched Demetrius Johnson since I was like 13 years old. I mean, I know what he's capable of, and I know how good he is, but sometimes in the sport, just trying to skip steps, and we try to skip some steps tonight, and now we just gotta work our way back and keep moving forward.
Are you gonna stay at 125?
Yeah, why not? I mean, for anybody, all the UFC staff, I was there at 6:45 ready to weigh in at 124, just to show you guys that weight's not an issue. So yeah, I'm staying at 125.
Thank you.
Hey, Kevin. First of all, can you assess your emotions after the fight? I know you had built yourself up to such a peak, and then to have it end the way it did, like how much does that hurt you?
Yeah, I'm devastated. I mean, I feel like I worked my ass off for this fight. I stepped up when no one else would, and I took a big risk tonight, and just didn't go my way. But I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna come back stronger.
How much did How much did the struggle to make the weight affect you in the cage tonight?
Yeah, I feel like that was a huge factor. The staph infection really didn't help. I've been fighting it for about a week now, and it didn't make the weight cut no easier. So, like I said, I'm sitting here now at about 185 pounds, a little too big for the weight class now. I've been fighting at this weight class since I started MMA at 17, so it's about time for me to go up. I'm, getting stronger and bigger. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe that played a factor, but regardless, Tony Ferguson was the better fighter tonight. I said it before. I thought he was the toughest fight in this division. I tried to step up, and what can I do?
And when you got out of the arm bar there, did you feel like you had a chance to break free of him a second, or did how quickly he got that triangle on you? But did you feel like you ever had a chance to escape after you got out of the arm bar?
Yeah, the arm bar wasn't the problem. I kind of underestimated his bottom work. It was the elbows more than anything. I mean, look at my face. It's not from the, So I underestimated his work from the bottom. He did a great job, and once the triangle was on, it was.
Right here, Motown. the worst thing that a fighter can experience on the day of weigh-ins is to step on the scale, to be told that you have to come back and lose a pound. We waited around, to see what was going to happen in that next hour. What did happen behind the scenes? How did y'all get that other pound off?
I mean, the weight cut was what it was. I wasn't gonna let down the whole show, let down everybody. I was gonna make the weight, even if I had to cut my foot off or something. I said it before. It damn near killed me, and I just had to do what I had to do. I got a job to do. I'm a professional. I'm gonna come out here, no matter how bad it hurts, no matter what. I'm gonna go out there, and I feel like I put my best performance on tonight. By the third round, it just was too much for me.
Well, I think now is a great time to speak about it. And everybody agrees. Every fighter I've ever spoken to agrees, and I've heard you talk about it many times. A 165-pound division is needed, but that's another conversation. My last question: at the end of round one, you seemed pretty close to stopping it. Did you feel as though, did your killer instinct kick in? Did you feel as though you had the win, or did you maybe get overzealous, you think?
A little bit, but with Tony, he's a dog. I said it before the fight. He's definitely been the toughest fight in this division. He's a rightful champion. I tried to make it a dog fight with him. I tried to let him know it's going to be a fight. At the end of the first, you got to put that man out. He there's no quit in him. He kept coming forward, and he kept the pressure, and he did what a champion is supposed to do. And I wish him nothing but the best. It might have been a lot of back and forth before, but we come from the same alma mater. I know how tough Tony Ferguson is, and he's the best man in the world.
Anyone else?
Kevin, did the staph infection come up at all, or did the doctor, no one ever, commissioned, did they have no idea about it?
I tried my best to hide it. I wasn't, it's a big event. A lot has been happening with the UFC these last couple events, and I wasn't going to let nobody down. I worked my whole life for this. It was like a culmination of things, but I'm not going to let this stop me. I'm still going to be a world champion. It might not happen when I'm 25, but...
And just to confirm, your next fight will be at 170. Is that what you're planning on, at least as of right now?
I don't know. I've taken a lot of fights this last year, so I don't know. I need some time. I'll probably go home.
Thanks, Kevin.
So, Kevin, with all respect, staph infection or not, do you feel like you lost a little bit of that fight on the scales? That 155 is just not a good look anymore?
You can say what you want, but Tony Ferguson was the better man tonight. Like I said, I underestimated his bottom work and that pace, the pressure. What can I say? He was the better man, and he caught me. He caught me with the elbows from the bottom, and then he caught me with the triangle.
So like other guys, like Cerrone moving up from 155, like Dos Anjos, we might see you at 170, 2018?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's definitely time for a 165-pound weight class. There's so many guys at 155 and so many guys at 170. I feel like they can really do 165 and 175. As you can see, I'm about 10 pounds bigger than Tony Ferguson anyway, just naturally. I think it's definitely a time for a 165-pound weight class, and that's what I'm going to push for. But right now, I just need some time. I've taken 4 fights in these last 12 months, so it's about time.
Look, I got the blue corner. Blue corner first. So, what did you think of the game the other night? You didn't watch it. They won again tonight. Yeah, but so what? I mean, you live in Vegas now. I'm into it. I'm into it. Even though somebody asked. What day were you there? Sunday night, right? And they said, they put me on the ice and I said, this is awesome. I can sit in the stand, I can be just like these other people, I can collaborate and have a good time, do whatever I want, but then I get other people here, do whatever.
That's cool.
No, the first game they didn't.
No, they won.
They won last night and they won.
Oh, they're 2-0.
They were down 1-0 tonight, like with 2 minutes to go. They scored. I didn't think they were down 1-0 2 about 7 minutes into the third, and then late in the game, James Neal scored. Well, James Neal scored 3 or 4 goals. He had no preseason at all, and then I didn't see what happened there, but he scored in overtime. The two of them coming home. Their Twitter account is great. Their Twitter, like, we're undefeated. I tweeted them today and I said, when can I win my playoff tickets? Franchise history, he does. They were ripping the Coyotes out of the Twitter account. You should see it. I couldn't believe it. I mean, yeah, they were like, okay, so Coyotes are dogs, but they're going, these guys are a bunch of dogs. Whatever on this team, meaning the Coyotes. They were the guys ripping them, yeah. And it was during the preseason when they were doing tweets like about meet our players, and so they said Shipachyov, who's a Russian guy, they said they're paying him $4.5 million to send to the Lions. It was shocking.
I knew they'd send that tough guy. Is that how you say his last name?
Yeah, he was a first round pick.
I knew they'd send him down. He was terrible.
But he was good the first 2 games. I think he'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was really good the first game and pretty good the second game. I think
this guy's terrible. How was he playing in the last preseason game?
there was a lot of thought he was going to be on the #1 power play. Yeah. But so they tweet out, they go, yeah, here's Shipachyov, played last year in the KHL, and he's now the best number 87 in the NHL. Right?
I saw like at least 1 or 2 fans that already had his jersey there.
So when they tweet that, so of course you know what I write back. I write back, I said, please cancel my tickets if you've never heard of the other number 87. And I was just like joking around. Some guy goes, what kind of an asshole are you? And they're just trying to have fun. I'm like, dude, like right over your head. Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I did. Well, Ferguson, anybody else with that?
Hey, you see, I'm still reveling in the Kings victory. So are the Kings. So are the Kings.
was one of them that I just didn't put it really well. I was in my office, and my dog was under the table. So some guy asked if I came out and says, "Hey, where are your dogs at?" So I really canceled the show, and they were all available. And it was the best dog either. And I mentioned it to him. I said, "Before I had asked him," I said, "He's jumping around."
What's up, guys?
Mr. White.
Yes. Hi. The gate was 678,000. There were 10,638 people in attendance. Fight of the night, Vanetta and Green. And performance of the night went to John Moraga and Demetrius Johnson. What's up?
I want to ask you, first of all, your emotion about the night. You know, it was a great opening that you guys did, and your speech was obviously very good. And I wonder, like, do you think the fighters reacted to that? Do you think it had an impact on the event itself?
Well, I had a meeting with them. You know, we always have a fighter meeting after the weigh-ins, and I kind of walked them through what tonight was about. And what I really loved, too, is some of the guys were calling asking if they could walk with Nevada flags and stuff like that. The fighters were definitely into it. And you know, with all the shit that's going on in this country right now, I appreciate it that they did. You know, I don't tell anybody what to do or when it comes to political views or any of that type of stuff. Unless it's your music, I'll tell you, can't walk to that song or something like that. But other than that, no. So yeah, I was proud of the guys, and I appreciated it.
What was your thought process on going ahead with the event as opposed to saying it's not time to have an event like this this close to such an event?
It's always time. It's always time to have an event. You can't let a coward determine, you know, how everybody else is going to live their life. This type of stuff is happening all over the world now. This is the world we live in, and you just can't back down to this kind of stuff. This thing is so crazy and so weird. It's been driving me nuts for you know, the entire week. You know, no motive, nothing makes sense. You know, the guy's 64 years old and carried all this stuff up there and did it. You know, Tom Petty just died at 66, and this was a guy fucking superhuman 64-year-old. It's just crazy. I'm trying not to think about it anymore, but you know, I've been saying all week, I'm really proud of this city and how everybody's reacted to this thing, from the first responders to the people that were just there helping other people, and then you guys, honestly, well, maybe some of you do, being in the journalist business, you know, companies are fucking cheap, man, and everybody will look for an excuse to not put money into something. And the way that the big guys stepped up in this town and threw in money, I told you guys this week, it's $1 million is $1,600 per person. That doesn't fly you home. That doesn't bury a loved one. That does nothing. But to see, you know, Sheldon Adelson and the MGM and, you know, these guys who all, you know, they're competitors. They don't like each other. They don't ever unite. They don't ever, you know, sometimes they might here and there, but most of the time they don't. Tony Shea at Zappos putting in $1 million. Boyd Gaming, the Fertitas, of course, coming in and do it. It's a big deal. It's a big deal to get everybody to do that. And they did. So pretty awesome, man. Everybody thinks this isn't a real community. This is the realest community. You find out who real people are when shit goes wrong.
I know you said you don't want to talk, and I'll just ask you one last question. I know you're friends with the president. Did you speak to the president on his trip here, and did he have anything to, you know?
I didn't. You know, I'm sure he was busy. I don't mess with him. I let him do his thing, and if he wants to talk to me, he reaches out to me. I've never been in a situation yet where I actually needed the president, so I'll leave him alone and let him do his thing. I think he's got bigger shit to do than to deal with me.
And just to go on the fights, just a couple questions on the fights. Your reaction to me, I thought Demetrius' submission was maybe the best in UFC history. I don't know what you thought of it from your angle. Can you give your opinion of that submission?
I agree, and you guys know what a crazy jiu-jitsu guy Joe Rogan is. You know, Rogan was up in the ring telling, I've never even seen that in a jiu-jitsu match. He goes, it's crazy. This guy's a freak, and it's true. You know, Demetrius is the best, man. He broke Anderson Silva's record and did it in spectacular fashion. And I feel like I disrespected, you know, Ray Borg a little bit with the whole TJ Dillashaw. That kid came to fight. He came to fight. He didn't want to tap to that arm bar. I don't know if you guys talked to him yet. His arm can't be feeling too good, but a stud. And I meant no disrespect.
Do you believe that this submission in how spectacular it was and how great he was overall in the fight, but just that submission will elevate him to the point that we're not talking about how come people don't like him anymore? Do you think this might be the moment that puts him over the top?
I felt like tonight the crowd was chanting his name, and you know, I think people are coming around. That's the thing. Sometimes it takes longer for some people. Crazy to think, but people didn't love Chuck Liddell at one time either. They didn't hate him. They just didn't care. And then Chuck became a massive superstar for us. And Anderson Silva, you and I actually used to talk about it all the time. And then he kicked Vitor in the face and exploded.
And then last question, Tony Ferguson. I mean, to me, that seems, I don't know what your plans are for Conor, but Tony Ferguson obviously seems like a massive fight with Conor right now.
Yeah.
Both guys are great fighters on win streaks, and Tony's a great talker as well. How do you think that plays out, and what is in your mind in terms of Conor, whether he goes to Diaz or whether he goes and unifies with Tony?
Nobody's talked about Diaz. Diaz has never been talked about. That's internet bullshit. Tony's the interim champion. Conor's the champion. It's the fight that makes sense. It's the fight that has to happen. It doesn't make sense. It's the fight that has to happen.
Danny, can you explain the process with Derek Lewis's injury and the Verdun fight?
Yeah, so apparently today, this afternoon, he tried to get out of bed and his back locked up on him. So he you know, the commission was like, if you can't get out of bed, you're not fit to fight, which I agree. You want to hear something crazy? I don't know if you guys ever knew this story. Maybe you did. Matt Hughes in Abu Dhabi, same thing happened to him. His back locked up and he couldn't get out of bed. They had to pull him out of bed, pick him up, and stand him up. He was walking like a robot. He went in and fought that night and beat Renzo Gracie. I'm not trying to make Derek Lewis look like a puss or anything. I'm just saying it popped in my head.
Dana, we just, excuse me, sorry. We just had Kevin Lee come in here. He's very emotional. He's obviously gone through a lot this week with the weight cut. What did you think of his performance tonight, all things considered, what he did to get that extra pound off?
He looked awesome. I mean, he looked great tonight. His jiu-jitsu is unbelievable. If you look at his fight with Michael Chiesa and then his fight tonight with Tony, who's known for, great jiu-jitsu, his jiu-jitsu looked unbelievable tonight. Yeah.
It seems like he really strained his body to make that weight. Do you feel for the guy, given what he went through?
Yeah. Listen, we offered him help at the Performance Institute to go in there and work with the guys there to cut the weight. He said, nah, I know what I'm doing. I don't need help cutting weight. And then we got down to the wire and, it was close.
So that kind of leads into what I was going to ask next is, given what he went through, and we almost lost the fight, what, if any, role can the UFC play in helping these guys with cutting weight and kind of changing the culture?
We're doing it with everybody. But he's a grown man. I can't tell him what to do. You either want to come in here and do it the right way or you want to do it your way. That's up to him.
And I don't know if anyone asked you this time. We heard you talk about DJ when he tied the record. Can you definitively say that Demetrious Johnson is the greatest UFC fighter of all time?
Definitely. He's the man. He broke Anderson Silva's record, and it almost seems like in that last round he knew he was going to do it, and he knew how he was going to do it. It was pretty impressive. I don't know if I just said this or not. I'm tired, but Matt Hume, we were talking about how awesome it was, and he goes, he does it in the gym all the time. That's like his move. He does that all the time. It's crazy.
Saw something surface as well that perhaps you're getting close to Holly Holm and Chris Cyborg. Is that close to happening?
Yeah. I think we'll get it done.
Do you know when? How close?
No.
Are you shooting for December 30th, last fight?
We'll see what happens. It's not done yet. I can never predict what's going to happen, but I think we'll get it done.
Thank you.
Soon. What's up, buddy?
Hey. Have you talked to Conor about what he's going to do next and when he's going to fight next? I mean, is the December thing likely, or is it not likely at this point?
Not yet. We haven't talked to. We didn't specifically talk about it, but yeah, we talked about it kind of. He wants to fight again this year. He does want to fight again this year. So he went and partied in Ibiza for a while, and went back home for a while, and you gotta let him blow off some steam, and then we'll figure it out.
And from what you've seen from Tony, especially tonight, what do you like about that fight so much? Do you think that fight will, be another Conor record seller?
Tony's a busy guy, man. He keeps coming forward. He keeps throwing all kinds of different things at you, and Conor's awesome. There's no way that's not a great fight. Impossible. We good?
Hey Dana, just wanted to ask about bringing some of the people who were affected, some of those people I saw on the news this week. How did you get them? How did you get in touch with them? How did you bring them to the event today?
Yeah, I'm pretty close to the police department in this town. I love law enforcement. I'm the opposite of all the crazy shit that's going on right now. I love law enforcement. You don't want to see a day when there's no law enforcement. I can promise you that. And they were instrumental in helping us get, a lot of the first responders here. And then, we reached out to the people who were shot. We knew some of them. The two girls that sat next to me tonight that go to high school, they're 17 years old. They got shot, and they go to Faith, where my kids go. So it was homecoming last night. They were there, and I talked. The two girls that got shot, their cousin was with them too, and she was actually way worse. Those two are like little rock stars now, man. They're out cruising around, shaking hands and talking to everybody. But their cousin, who isn't getting the media attention that they get, she didn't get shot, but she does not like being in big crowds. She was really scared last night being at homecoming there. And we got her out tonight, and she was great tonight at the fight. It's almost like you got to jump back on the horse and get back in there and live your life, especially girls that young. They saw dead bodies. They saw people shot in the head. They were shot at. They were shot. I mean, that's tough to overcome when you're that young,
And just curious, where were you on Sunday when this happened, and how did it, did you stay up all night watching? How did it affect you?
I was home, and I turned on the TV at about 10 minutes after 11 and started to watch this thing unfold, and I stayed up all night watching it. It was fucking crazy, man. It's crazy when you watch this stuff and it's 10 minutes down the street from your house. Yeah, it was crazy. But it was weird. I got very little sleep. I woke up the next day, but it's almost like I knew exactly what I had to do, and I started.
And historically, you haven't played the anthem or anything like that at events.
One other time.
33,
9/11.
right? Yeah, UFC
9/11.
33. How did you come to the conclusion of wanting to play that? And Everlast told us that he didn't feel comfortable singing the anthem because of a verse, so he pitched you the idea of the Star Spangled Banner. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it was a great idea. What he said was, I love the national anthem like anybody does, but it's controversy right now. We don't need controversy. We need unity. This is what I want to sing. And I said, dude, that's a great idea. I love it. And 35 minutes later, he sent me a text message with that version on my phone, and I listened to it, and I was like, love it. Let's do it.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Hey, and what's up? You want to ask something? Yes, sir. And thanks for coming and covering tonight, man. A lot of people get scared, and this is what we have to do. We have to get back out and get on the horse. Go ahead.
Sir, with all due respect, I know that you've been opposed to introducing new weight classes, but given what happened yesterday with Kevin Lee, there's many guys on the fringe, such as Kevin Lee, that could probably thrive in a 165 or 175 division. Does it change your stance on that issue whatsoever?
No, Kevin Lee could have cut weight the right way. He could have gone into the performance. It's all free. It's all available to him. There's no more, I can't afford to do it right. Cost you nothing. Dude, we got guys living over at that place right now. They're eating lunch there. I feel like I'm roommates with Francis Ngannou, okay? That guy lives at the Performance Institute and in the kitchen, and, they get free food. Food is free. Supplements are free. Training is free. Physical therapy is free. The nutritionist to show you how to cut weight the right way, all kinds of crazy, up-to-date things that tell you where you're at. It's all a science, and we hired the best people in the world and have the best facility in the world, and they can use it anytime they want. He chose not to, and this is where we're at.
How do I get an invite? But even with, we've seen an unprecedented number of interim titles in the last few years, and sometimes they're success stories, like in the featherweight division or the heavyweight division in the past. But right now, we have 2 belts in the lightweight division, and I understand what you're trying to do is unify them, and that's obviously what we all want. But historically, with Conor, I mean, it seems more likely that, that if this was a 165 title, it would get defended before the 155 gets unified.
If there was a 165-pound belt, it would be what? Say that again?
So I understand the reason you're opposed to it. You don't want a situation like boxing where it's convoluted, you have too many belts. But right now in the lightweight division, you have 2 belts. And based on Conor's past history and, this whole entire year as an example, I feel that if this was a 165 belt that Tony has, that it would be defended before the 155 gets unified. I understand you're trying to unify it as soon as possible, but worst case scenario, if it doesn't, it holds, you still have 2 belts in the division.
You lost me. But yeah,
So-
here's the thing.
Fair enough.
Conor, this Floyd thing popped up. It popped up. The thing that the interim belts are good for is you don't clog up the division. You don't have guys sitting around waiting to whatever. Tony deserved it. Tony and Khabib deserved to fight for that belt, right? Khabib didn't make weight. So when crazy shit like this happens that you don't plan for, you have to still give the kid the opportunity. Tony accepted the fight, and now we have an interim champion. There's no question now who gets the shot at Conor. It's pretty definitive, because you can have all these questions about, oh, this Khabib should get it. Oh, this guy should get it. Kevin Lee should get it. There ain't no questions now. Tony Ferguson won in a great fight, fair and square. It's pretty simple. Thank you.
Nobody of importance?
What's up, guys?
Congratulations, Tony, on your win.
Thank you. Thank you, man.
A couple things I wanted to ask about. First of all, were you in any trouble at the end of the first round?
No, I was hard to see out of my right eye. Kept really composed. I knew I had to weather the storm. I knew I had enough mental toughness. If he was going to take me down, that was going to be his try to finish. He wasn't going to knock me out. So, no.
And was it tough for you? You talked earlier in the week about, with all that went on in Las Vegas, that it was, you were surprised the fight still went on. When you got here tonight, was that on your mind, or were you able to blank your mind out, and were you able to compete without having, thoughts in your head?
I carried it with me. When you're battled with adversity, you have to move forward. You have to keep strong. I kept Vegas with me the whole entire week. I really tried to just change my whole mental game. There's no room in my heart for anger anymore. There's none. Never was. But going into this fight, I knew I had to keep myself composed. I knew that he was going to be overly aggressive. I have a lot of experience in this sport, and the Ultimate Fighter has given me that. I knew that he was just going to waste so much energy, especially what he did in the weigh-in. So what I did was I just weathered the storm. I knew he was going to go. I felt his shots start to lessen with strength. As we were pinned up against the cage, I was pulling on his head and pulling his neck down. It's something I use in jiu-jitsu to gas tank, to take the gas tank away from my opponents. And he wasn't throwing any shots, and when his shots started to throw, they were just hitting like hitting a beach ball. So I already knew that. With that being said, I knew that he was going to put a lot of pressure and be within my submission link. I don't just have a Darce. I got plenty in my arsenal.
You guys talked a lot. What was he saying to you? I mean, especially even in the third round there, he was chirping at you.
We were having fun, man. It was just out there. I wanted to piss him off. I'm the matador. He's the bull. I slapped him on the ass, and he came forward just like I wanted him to. I kept really composed, and I kept him really rangy. And when his takedowns weren't as strong, I knew that if he was going to pin me against the cage, that's when he was going to have his best shot. But when he did, I jumped immediately in the guard. I said, screw this. We're going to finish this right now.
And then to talk about, Dana said before you got in here, I don't know if you had a chance to talk to him, but he thinks the next fight is you versus Conor, and that he said he hadn't talked to Diaz. So you're looking at that. That seems to me, with the way you're on a big roll and the way you fight and the way you talk and the way he does that could be a massive fight. Is that something that you look forward to, getting in one of those fights where now it's going to be like not just MMA media, but you might bring in the outside media and have a bigger event than maybe what you've ever had before?
I was saving my good material for him. Literally. I mean, honestly, I didn't want to say anything against Kevin Lee. He didn't deserve to be up here, but he showed that tonight. He was the only game opponent that wanted to sign a dotted line. He made the weight. Everybody was panicking when he didn't even make weight. Everybody was telling me, Tony, are you worried? Are you worried? Are you worried? Absolutely not. We come from the same background. I knew he was going to make weight. So if Conor's next, no matter what, if he doesn't want to defend it, then whatever. I don't care. I'm here right now. I just won this belt. I'm fresh. I don't have any injuries. I'm ready to go back to the drawing board on Monday. There's a couple things I really want to work on and sharpen up, especially my elbows. My takedown defense, I mean, really, I don't care. My takedowns are amazing. My takedown defense was amazing, but that's what I did. I sacrificed my takedown defense to get into my submission game. I wanted to demonstrate to everybody that I'm a full, complete mixed martial artist. I don't just have hands. Because in the beginning, I was knocking out people. You guys remember that? And then I learned Muay Thai, and then I learned Jiu-Jitsu. And I just learned how to put it all together. You don't have to take so many shots like I did in the first one, but you might sometimes give one to take two, or take one to give two.
And then just my last question for you, Tony, is looking ahead to a fight against McGregor. He's a guy that's a really good counterpuncher, and but he has some good things going for you. How do you break that matchup down? Do you feel like the matchup favors you, or do you think it's kind of even and it's going to be who's on top of his game that night?
I'll ankle pick him, no problem. I'll set him on his ass, and everybody's the same size on the ground. Conor McGregor poses no threat to me, especially when I hit him with the jab. He's going to be running away like Katsunori Kakuno did, and I'll chase after his ass like a cornerback, and I'll slam him to the ground, and I'll finish him with a Darce choke or any kind of choke of my please. The boy's scared. He's never mentioned my name not one time. Not one time during this whole entire talk. I've been here. I'm 10 consecutive victories. I'm a lightweight, interim lightweight champ. But like I said, it doesn't matter who they put in front of me. It could be Khabib, it could be Conor. I'm going to go back to the drawing board, and I'm going to talk to my managers. I'm going to talk to my agents. I'm going to talk to my team. But the fight is with Conor. It is with Conor. You can't run anymore, man. You're in check. And I'm great at chess.
Dana said that Conor could fight again by the end of the year. You were saying you could definitely be ready by December 30th.
Let's go next week.
Yeah.
Straight up. I'm not injured. I had fun out there. I hope the fans and I hope the first responders tonight that were there in the crowd for Vegas, that they enjoyed the show. I took a little bit more damage than I wanted to, but honestly, they didn't hurt. I prepared more than I should have for this fight. Going up to Big Bear was probably the best advice that my wife could have gave me. She was like, Anthony, I need you to go up there. I was like, okay. So she rented me a spot. I built my own camp. I built it safe so nobody's gonna get injured. I mean, literally, I used my car as a work truck. It's funny. And people thought it was kind of crazy, and that's kind of weird, right? But I think it's genius because I'm taking my ingenuity and my creativity and not having to have somebody hold my hand to go and build this type of thing. I've learned how to do this from a long time ago, listening to my dad and really paying attention, being his apprentice for a long time. I'm a master now. This is what I do, and I'm still taking notes. I'm still a student of the game, and I'm going to bring humbleness to this.
The fact that Conor has not mentioned your name, like you said, does it give you any alarm that he's going to try to go somewhere else? Or do you feel, like you said, that you do have him pinned in now?
I don't care. Like, this is chess, man. This is check. it's going to be checkmate soon. He's got nowhere else to run. Literally, he's running out of time. He needs to defend or vacate. If he doesn't vacate, he needs to defend it. But I'm going to tell you what, just set it down, Connor, and just fucking walk away. Nobody will get hurt. That's my coach, Eddie Bravo. Got him too. My whole crew over there, I want to say thank you very much. They pushed me past the limits. I know you guys in the media, you guys didn't get a chance to go up to Big Bear, and I understand why, because you guys would have ran up the mountain with me. But the first thing is this whole entire camp was an enjoyable experience. I brought a lot of people, or a couple people back from my hometown, and enjoyed the process. You know, I took a couple bumps and spills with some longboarding incidents, but when it happened, I rolled with it, and I knew that with Kevin Lee, I was going to be able to roll with the punches as well. You know, training up in Big Bear, when we were running, we could hear the people that were with me, but then sometimes we would hear something else in the background, so it made us run a little bit faster. So it was kind of funny in that essence, but we prepared more than enough for this guy. We could have went 20 rounds with this guy.
Tony, congratulations on the win. I'm sure Coach Brock Lesnar is somewhere smiling. You won Tough 13, now you're the champion. Interim, regular, you're the champion. Describe a little bit of the journey from the tough house to being the man in the house.
From the tough house, I have to say I've grown a lot. I definitely have grown a lot. I have to say that a lot of the experience that I have had in the Ultimate Fighter has gotten me to this. You know, being a knucklehead in that house to where I'm at now, to being a father, being married with 2 pain-in-the-ass dogs, and you know, and remodeling my house and doing these kind of things. It's an opportunity for me to grow as a person and as a human being. So for myself and on behalf of my family, my team, I want to say thank you to all my fans out there. I want to say thank you guys to everybody who bought the pay-per-view. I hope you guys had a hell of a show, and the next one's going to be even better. Straight up. Next question.
Hey Tony, congratulations. It's been fascinating to just watch your personality and your character over the last few days. It genuinely feels like you're a different person, and you're just a lot more, I don't know, maybe at peace with who you are and comfortable with showing us who you are. Is that all, like if Sunday doesn't happen, are you different? It just feels like you've completely, I don't know, embraced, you're a unique guy, and it seems like you're just having a lot of fun, and you've been smiling all week, and we haven't really seen that side of you usually on Fight Week. Is that just as a result of Sunday?
My coach, Coach Billy, he tells me, smile, Tony. If you guys heard it in the corner, he was telling me, you can't fight aggressive, and you can train aggressive. You can take everything and you can hone it in, you can zero it in. It's like when I take that chaos, I mold it to how I want it to be. I took all the chaos from this week, and I didn't want to bring negativity into it. This town had so much negativity already, I needed to do something different for myself to demonstrate that I wasn't going to let anything get to me and not let anything get to the people. People are still hurting, man. There's a lot of things going on in this world that you can worry about besides being pissed off and angry and trying to use that aggressiveness inside that octagon. For myself, it's completely different. I have a 1-year-old that's going to be 2 soon, and for me, I want to demonstrate the best kind of a person that I can be. Not for you guys. I can give 2 shits for you guys. I do it for my kid. I do it for my family. Why? Because they deserve it. You guys deserve it too. In essence, honestly, I have fun with it. And like I said, it's a growing up process, man. We all make mistakes and we all grow from it. But right now, I'm the champ. I'm here to defend this thing, and I'm here to go after the real belt. I'm not going anywhere, but I'm going to be humble in this whole entire thing. And I'm going to demonstrate to the younger generation that they don't have to talk shit in order to get their things done. I got 10 consecutive victories. I hold a lightweight consecutive victory thing, and I'm aiming for that Hall of Fame spot. Looking at the big picture, not the small one.
Kevin,
it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yes, sir. Kevin mentioned that he had a staph infection and he sort of hid it from the officials. Do you have any issues with that?
How can you hide that thing? Literally, it was like a target on his chest. It gave me a perfect essence to fight and aim for it. I really don't care. I mean, honestly, we're going to make things happen whether or not we like it or not, regardless what happens to our bodies. Even if I stubbed my toe and I broke it, I'd still show up and fight. I would always show up and fight. I will always bring the game, and I will always bring 110% no matter what, because that's what I do and that's what I know. I don't know anything different besides bringing this shit. And whoever's going to step in front of me is going to have their hands full. And regardless if I win or lose, I will walk away a champion no matter what, because I know how to do that. I know how to win, and I know how to lose and bounce back.
And last thing, now that you won the interim belt, have you moved on from Khabib? Are you not interested anymore in that since it's been such a roller coaster, or do you still want to fight him?
I don't know. You should ask him that. I think he's pissed off at the fact that he couldn't demonstrate his techniques inside that octagon. I just saw Ali Abdelaziz backstage. I shook his hand. It was awesome. Even talked to Verdum, and before, after the Dana speech, I was like, "Hey, Verdum, good luck." I opened my hand like this, and he shook my hand. He said, "Hey," and I looked at him, and I took my glasses off, and I said, "I'm a big fan still." Because from the Ultimate Fighter, when I went to the house and I came back from medicals, he was the first big UFC person that I saw. And I was telling me, I was like, man, I don't have a real big mixed martial arts coach. I'm looking for that next step in my evolution as far as a fighter and as a person. So when I said that, I think there was a connection there and we really meant it. So regardless, I'm a man. I have a backbone. I know what's up. But I'm not going to let anything affect me anymore. Absolutely not. I'm a man and I'm growing, and this isn't what it's about. What it's about is about giving it your all, your peace, and finding that peace. And I'm finding it.
Not sure if you saw, but Khabib tweeted you, congratulating you, and called you the real champion.
That's awesome, dude. I mean, honestly, that's great. This sport right now, like I said, there's so much in the world that's going on that there's like so much more to worry about than that. And right now, I'm excited. I'm happy. I can't wait to go see my son. I really can't. Give my wife and my kid a giant hug and get some pizza in my stomach.
Tony, congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
You know, you walk, talk, and you carry yourself like a great Mexican fighter does. You call yourself El Cucuy. Now you have that belt. So is it important to you to continue on in the lineage of great Mexican champions in combat sports?
Absolutely. I have to carry myself a lot better. I have to represent myself a lot better. And I mean, it is what it is. My last name is Ferguson, so it's kind of hard for people to tell that I'm Mexican. But my dad stepped in the picture at a young age, and I'm very fortunate that he pushed me to the limit to where I'm at right now. And I remember the advice that he told me is like, if I can't get you to that next level, I'm gonna find somebody that will. And the coaches that I found that could, they always said the same thing. All great coaches will do that. A great coach is not gonna hold you back. A great coach is gonna find that next person in line that's gonna get you to that next level. I've a great, great group of people that are helping me get to where I'm at. I consider them family, more than family. So my family's growing, and it is. And it's hard for me to accept that with the team because, I mean, recently I just went to Black House, for instance, with Coach Kenny and all the wrestlers and the young team that are over there. They push me, man. They push me and push me and push me, and I'm learning over there, so I'm sharing knowledge. I'm paying it forward the same way that my coaches did. So the best thing that I can do is be a great representative, not only for my race, because I am American, Mexican, both, not just one. But unfortunately, I can only wear one on my shirt. So with the last name Ferguson and the nickname El Cucuy, hopefully everybody respects that. And I am Mexican, and I do speak a little bit more Spanish, and I did learn in books. Get it?
And last thing I just want to ask, you know, because Cain Velasquez had the opportunity to sort of be that great first Mexican UFC champion. So is it important to you to embrace that and become maybe what he could have been, but injuries have taken that away from him?
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of my favorite places to fight was in Mexico City. And the one thing that you guys know is I run at night. When I'm running at night, when I was over in Mexico City, I could see like the streets are clean, man. Like the people in Mexico take so much pride in everything, and I'm very proud. I hold that to me. I always say that I have like the Aztec blood. Yo tengo la sangre de Azteca. Yo tengo una idea muy fuerte. Y yo estoy listo para todos los peleadores en esta división. Los tienes un problema. El problema está. El nombre es El Cucuy.
Gracias.
De nada.
Tony, there was a lot of trash talking between you and Kevin Lee all week and before. What did you say to him immediately after the loss? I saw you went as he was crouched down.
Keep your head up, kid. It's the same thing. I know, like, we got to sell this fight and we got to do what we got to do, but we're men inside that octagon, man. Did you guys have fun? Did you guys enjoy the fight? Raise your hands if you enjoyed the fight. You didn't enjoy it? Thank you very much. I hope you did. because you know what we did inside there is we bled for everybody. We went in there, we gave everybody a show. I mean, for the events that happened this week, we did our best to focus. And you know what? And sometimes you have to create an enemy to beat an enemy. I did that inside the house. I was young and dumb once, but you grow from it.
And did you happen to see Demetrius Johnson's submission?
I did not. I didn't watch any of the fights. I was so zoned in my fight. I was turned away from the whole entire TV. I told him to turn it down. That's how in tuned I was. I was in the zone. You guys look at my Instagram. There's a picture when I'm pointing at the octagon. And I said, don't let me get in my zone. I was in my zone the whole entire time from the weigh-ins. I talked to Daniel kind of like outside. I was like, man, this kid's going to do an adrenaline dump. You better save some of that energy for tomorrow. I know I'm very experienced inside there, and Demetrius is very experienced, and I knew he was going to take it. And I'm glad that he did it, and I'm glad he broke the record. Thank you. Os. You guys must be tired. I'm out of here. Thank you guys.